It was the height of the summer. Tourists flocked to the Little Western every day of the week, and goods contracts built up from every station. Oliver, the Great Western engine, was feeling rushed off his wheels, but not Duck. I wish I was having my overhaul as well. This weather is giving me an ache in my smoke box. I'm sorry, Oliver. I'm not the one that's passed the boiler ticket, you know. I need a break anyway. There's important work running on this branch line, you know. Yes, I do know. I'm the one that's been working on it. I think you've been forgetting us. We've been working on it as well, you know. You two get to haul the passengers whilst Donald and I are stuck with the screaming trucks all day. Oh, you're exaggerating. Those trucks don't scream. They're just bored of being stuck in the yard all day. You don't understand, Doc. There's this one truck where its axle boxes haven't been oiled. It screams along the line whenever it moves. You'll survive. Ed will be here soon to take me to the works. You'll look after the branch line for me while I'm gone. You know the procedure. The Great Western Way. We've heard it enough times, Doc. I think we get it now. With a little hint from the Caledonian Way, Donald? I'd be careful if I was you. This branch isn't easy to run as you think. Ah, please. The 2 little tank engines could have done it, and 2 10-door engines will manage fine. That's exactly it. 2 tank engines can run it because these 2 tank engines can shunt easier, and we don't have to run around at stations or use turntables. But you also don't have to have a lot of coal and water. That'll be fine. What can go wrong? Suit yourself. I'll give them a fortnight. That's a bit generous, Duck. 9 or 10 days at most. Edward led Duck off to the workplace that morning. Whilst on the branch, it was back to work. The twins coasted along the coastal lines with ease. They took it in turns helping Oliver with the passenger trains before attending to their goods. Shouldn't we speed up a bit, Mr. Douglas? You don't want to be late. This shipment needs to reach Tidmouth Harbour in the hour. Relax, dude, we have plenty of time. You just get back to your singing, we'll be there before you know it. I smell trouble. These engines are talking about their work less carefully than they should be. Toad was right. Donald and Douglas were finding life on the branch line easy work, and took advantage of Duck not being around to teach him the proper ways to do things. This is where things got complicated for the twins. Allsburg, last stop. Change here for the Arsdale Railway. Oliver's train waited here for a while before heading back to the big station. The driver, who was in Isabel's cab, went off to the toilet, whilst the fireman and Oliver's went off to buy a snack from the station cafe. Neither noticed the visitors on board the train. Look, said one, they've made a play area on the train, so you can pretend you're driving it yourself. They were looking at Isabel, the auto coach's cab, which did not look like the controls of Oliver at all. They didn't know that these controls linked up to Oliver's cab, so that the driver could control the train from the coach to save time running around the train. Yeah? Hey? What's happening? We shouldn't be moving. Stop! The driver and fireman had no idea what was happening until they heard Oliver's whistle, but by then it was too late to stop. Uh-oh, this isn't good. It took some time to sort out the mess. When Oliver was back on the rails, he was unserviceable. He wasn't damaged too badly, but needed a thorough inspection to be sure. Oh boy, what with me and out of action, you two won't be able to manage the line on your own. Nonsense! Clearly I've never seen the Caledonian ways of doing things. Oliver wasn't so sure. He was sent off to Crovan's Gate for an immediate repairs. Duck was surprised when he was shunted on the track next to him. Afternoon, Duck. I can explain. Apparently, the Caledonian way of doing things wasn't enough to run the whole branch line. They didn't admit it, but Donald and Douglas suddenly began to struggle. Toad watched with interest as they hurried hauling both passengers and goods trains, and sometimes both in one. I told them something like this would happen, but did they listen? Of course not. Nobody ever listens to wise old Toad. Next morning, Douglas returned to the yards after dropping off his passenger coaches. What the hell, driver? Trucks, I'm afraid. With the screaming trucks too. I'll try bumping into it. Maybe that'll stop his axle box squeaking so much. The guard was ready for the journey. There was a small stove in the brake van, and she had lit this to have a cup of tea. She then jumped down to get the red and green flags. Douglas came up to the train with a big bump. There was a big mistake. The brake van shifted backwards, and sparks from the stove flew out onto the wooden floor. Nope, I don't think that's got rid of the squeak, Douglas. I'll just go get some oil from the lampshade. That'll stop it. Mr. Douglas, I think the brake van is, Mr. Douglas? Hello? Oh dear. Oh glory, look at that! What happened here? Oh, for crying out loud! I was only gone for a cup of tea! I only wanted a cup of tea! Never mind that, call 999. I'll go get some water or something. The driver pulled Douglas backwards, then used some sand from his sandbox to tackle the flames. It wasn't long before the fire department arrived and put the rest of the flames out. The brake van was in ruins. You don't have a good history with brake vans, do you, Douglas? I'm just glad it wasn't me. That could have been a lot worse for all of us. The fire incidents caused several delays, which were to say the least unnecessary. The twins were beginning to realise they had overestimated the workload they had without Duck or Oliver to help them with. We can't afford any more delays today. I better get my goods train ready. No fires though. Donald was in a rush and wasn't paying much attention. He shunted his coaches with another sitting in the yards and put them all into the same siding. This would have been fine if he wasn't in such a hurry. The guard had to go along the train, applying the brakes manually to each of the coaches. She had just put the brakes on the first coach when Donald chuffed away. The coaches began to move. The guard quickly ran down the corridor to apply the brakes on the other coaches, but the others didn't have a corridor. It was too late to jump down, so there was nothing she could do. It's nice to have a rest while we wait for the signal to change the points. Look out! Okay, break over. Donald hopped forwards just in time to avoid colliding with the runaway coaches, just as Douglas chuffed up into the station approach. Whoa, what's happening? Brakes, driver! Bust my buffers! Well, that escalated quickly. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the coaches were damaged. Donald was trapped in the yards and Douglas was off the rail. They were going nowhere. Don't worry, you two. At least you can have a rest now. The next train is Light Engine, and he's just coming around the corner now. He'll sort this out. Light Engine? Who could that be? Afternoon, you two. So, what have we here? Toad, what happened? Well, Mr. Oliver, sir, it's quite a story. Mr. Donald and Mr. Douglas were trying so hard to do things their own way, they got behind on their work. They both had mistakes, while you and Mr. Duck have been gone, and now they're in a right mess, as you can see. Would you look at that? It's almost as if the Caledonian way just wasn't good enough. There is a moral to be learned, isn't there, Toad? Don't get behind on your work and focus on what you're doing? Well, I was thinking, don't mess up a perfectly good system. Duck may brag about the Great Western, but apparently, it is the right way to do things. Come on, let's get you back on the tracks. We've got a timetable to catch up on. Both the Scottish twins felt embarrassed as their errors were sorted out. They got straight back to doing things how they were supposed to do, not what they thought they were supposed to do. Things ran like clockwork for the next few months, until at last Duck returned to the branch line from his overhaul. It's good to be back, though I saw some strange things in the works. Never expected to see you there for starters, Oliver. Then there was this breakdown burnt to flames. And these coaches, I swear I've seen them before. Can't picture where though. Anyways, anything new happened whilst I was gone? Well, the Arsdale Railway's in a bit of a state at the moment. Their landlord is visiting them and he doesn't sound like he's a nice chap, is all I can say. Other than that, you'll never guess what Donald and Duck has been up to. They've been really useful, Mr. Duck. They finally learned how to do things the Great Western way, and they made sure the branch runs efficiently as possible, Mr. Duck. Is that right, Toad? I never thought I'd hear that. Two patriotic Scottish engines taking advice from Great Western engines. I'm impressed. Though you'd be surprised, I was speaking to Edward on the way to the works, and he said those two argue like brothers sometimes. I guess two wrongs don't make a right. Oliver? Yeah? What's that empty truck doing over there? Being empty? You know it should be under the ballast chute. Oh come on, the yard doesn't have to be that perfect. There are only two ways of doing things, Oliver. I know you're young and you don't understand this so much, but don't understand? How can I not understand with you constantly annoying everyone with your orders? Orders? I'm just trying to run a branch line properly. Your branch? All these days I've worked here, there are only two ways of doing things, Oliver. I'd be out of here, I would.